And hello. And today we are in Umbria and we're in Montefalco. And my guest today is Cristina Mercuri, MW. And it's my pleasure to interview her. She is the latest of three MWs in Italy. And I have some questions about this MW that I'm sure that you'll find interesting because it is the highest award accolade that you can get in our business, in my opinion. And very, very few people actually know what the mechanics of becoming an MW is. So we're going to ask, and good morning, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good morning.
So before we start on the MW, my first question is, what was your first serious interest in wine?
Wow, it was a long time ago, and I was still studying at the university. And when I actually was watching TV at the television, there was a person that was a sommelier talking about wines in a uh, very strange way, very romantic, very with this kind of terms that I didn't understand, and so I got really angry. Angry.
Interesting.
And so I said, no, I want to study wine, and I let you know who is the, the taster here.
Interesting.
So yes, it was
So from the television, it was a challenge that you took on.
Yes, that was my first fall in love at the end, because when I started studying, I said, I like this stuff. And I like to know more about this stuff, and I like to know more about vinification, fermentation, why the aromas of the wine, why the taste of the wine. So I got really, really inside that. I was a lawyer, but then I cultivated my passion for wine since the beginning.
My goodness me. And what year would that be then?
It should be around 2004, 2005. Yes, because I got my degree in law in 2006. Then I started my career as a lawyer, and then in the meantime I was practicing and tasting wines by myself.
Okay, fine. So how long after this event, television and everything else, and having a legal degree as well, how often, or how after, time-wise, did you study, thought, I'm going to become an MW?
Oh, wow.
Because that is a big decision.
That was a big decision, and it happens in 2015. Starting from 2013, actually, I started feeling not happy being a lawyer, so I started planning my plan B. And at the end, in 2015, I left my career as a lawyer, and since I was older than 30, so I was not a child, I said to myself, okay, you want to leave your career, you want to work in wine, but you will work hard and become an MW. So I decided at that moment that yes, I accept to change my career, I accept to work hard from the beginning in the wine business, but I wanted to become an MW.
Okay, fine. So the decision has been made.
Yeah.
Obviously, some prior knowledge of what you are taking on. So here's the question: what is the process of becoming an MW? I assume it is very, very long, an enormous amount of studying on so many different levels. Please explain briefly to our viewers.
So starting from, we cannot start from the beginning, starting from scratch and going inside the program of the Master of Wine. You still need to be very prepared to it. So before asking to join the program of the Master of Wine, I got my diploma, my WSET diploma, and I presented a letter from another MW of recommendation, and I also proved that I was working in this industry for about 5 years. So I left my career in 2015, I got my diploma, and then in 2019 I asked to join the program. Fortunately, I got inside the program at first attempt, and then it started everything. So yes, it's a huge amount of study, it's a huge amount of dedication, it's a huge amount of money as also. But I really wanted to do this. How does it work? Actually, it takes 3 stages: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 1, just a little bit of introduction. There are no lessons. It is not a school where you go and you study with a teacher. Everything is done by yourself. The only things that the institute give to you is actually a mentor and 5 days of a seminar where you do a mock exam. So actually you have to study by yourself, you have to find the sources by yourself, you can get the help of other MW, but you have to look for that, you have to travel by yourself, you have to do anything by yourself. Stage 1 is actually an exam that is made only one day. The morning session is a blind tasting of 12 wines, is a mixed bag, so you can have white wines, sparkling wine, red wines, anything. In the afternoon, you have to write 2 essays in 2 hours about viticulture, winemaking, or commercial stuff, marketing, etc. Then the redemption for stage 1 is around 40%, and actually I didn't pass a first attempt. I tried again in 2020, and then I passed. And then stage 2 started. Stage 2 is the one of the most challenging. In my opinion, stage 3 is actually even worse, but stage 2 is huge.
Sounds a nightmare.
It's a nightmare because you have to know very well all the wines of the world. It doesn't matter the quality. You have to recognize the style, the identity of each region, and then you have to know everything about viticulture, winemaking, handling of wine, so quality assessment, quality assurance, marketing and sales, and contemporary issues. So you have to do a lot of practical things for tasting wines, but also for theory. And then the exam lasts 4 days. The first 3 days in the morning, you have the tasting. So white paper, so 12 wines, 12 white wines blind. The second day is the red paper, so is 12 red wines blind, and then you have a mixed bag for the third day.
Excuse me interrupting, do you have to describe the wines that you're tasting to a judging panel at that stage?
Actually, you have to write down answers to questions. So for instance, the wines are divided in small flights. So you have, for instance, wine from 1 to 3 are from the same region with different grape varieties. Please identify the region for each wine, identify the grape varieties for each wine, describe the winemaking for each wine, assess the quality in the context of the origin for each wine, comment on the commercial appeal. So there are many questions on this.
Okay.
That's why it's challenging, because it's not, it's not immediate to recognize, an origin of a grape, but you can work on the textural element, on the acidity, on the concentration to understand how it is made, the quality, the commercial appeal of the wine, the price overall. In the afternoon, you have the theory essays. Day 1 is viticulture, 3 essays in 3 hours. Day 2 is winemaking. Day 3 is handling of wine. Day 4 is marketing and sales, and then, day 4 is in the morning, marketing and sales, in the afternoon, contemporary issues. So at the end of these 4 days, your brain is...
Yes, cooked.
Indeed.
Yes.
So I had to be really ready, not only because I studied, but also as my body had to be ready. So the first year it was fun.
Sort of physical as well as
yes. And I tell you something, because in the first year I studied a lot, but probably my body was not ready, because at the end the result was day 1 B and B. B is a pass grade. Day 2 is C+. C+ is not pass. Day 3 was C. So it was like doing down.
Oops.
Because
and
of my
you get
energy.
Told at that time?
Yeah, no, not at that time. I had to wait 3 months.
Okay, fine. I was just about to say.
So when I received the result the first time, I said, I have a problem with my energy, my body. So in the second year, I studied even harder, but I get the help of also of a mental coach.
Uh-huh.
So I work it out. I do exercise of breathing, and then actually I got ready to do the stage 2 for my second time, and I passed. I passed both theory and practical at the same time. So it was something like, wow, you did it. Yes, I was so happy. But then another nightmare arrived, because stage 3 is really a huge paragraph of the program. You have to write a scientific paper, a research paper on a topic, your choice. I decided to do a visual semiotic analysis of the cover of a newspaper of Enotria, that was a very famous newspaper in Italy during fascism regarding women. So I wanted to understand how women in wine were portrayed during fascism and see
So 20s
how
and 30s, 1930s.
yeah. And see how propaganda and fascism was shaping the way we communicate wine.
Fascinating.
Yeah, to make a parallel with today. So how can we communicate wine better, even using semiotic and the visual semiotic to be more more direct and more efficient.
And was there how many words? 5,000, 10,000?
10,000 maximum.
10,000 maximum.
Yeah.
So you had to praise the
A lot. I had to read. So the work was write it down again, write it down again, write it down again, write it down again. And then at the end, I submitted my research paper in December 2025, and I got the news in February 2026, and I cried a lot.
I feel like crying for you.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I researched very little about the MW, but one of the things that came out was the amount of people that have passed this exam. I think the exam started in 1955 in London, correct me if I'm wrong, and there are fewer than 500 people worldwide that have passed this exam. It is probably, or to be argued, one of the hardest exams you could ever take. So I think right now is probably a good time to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
I know one or two MWs, and I've never had this sort of the feel that I wanted to ask these questions to them. So you're the first person that's given me this answer, and I thank you for it. Briefly, what's the best advice you've received during this wine course of many years? What was the best advice?
The best piece of advice is never give up, and the one that I still believe on is believe in your intuition. Sometimes you taste the wine, you get an intuition, but then your brain starts working and say,
starts playing games.
Maybe no, why is not this one?
Yeah.
Why is not that one? No, believe yourself. You are good enough to taste the wines. You are sensitive enough to understand the wines. So trust yourself and be brave.
So your first thought is your best thought?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Did you, I think you briefly mentioned on it, but support from MWs, because I think there were 2 MWs in Italy at the time you were taking it. Did you receive any support from them or from other countries?
I received a lot of support from Master Wine in other countries, especially in the north of Europe. And my mentor is from London, so I got a huge amount of help. I used to work together with the other MW that are based in Italy, and then they passed their exam before me, and so we lost a little bit of connection. But yes, being supported by other Master of Wine is important, because actually you need to have feedback and you need to give feedback. So studying together is a way to keep calm and understanding things that you probably don't feel. Or maybe there is also a way you say, oh, this is for me normal to talk about this wine in this way. And another person that actually read your notes say, no, this is not normal, I don't understand anything. So giving this kind of feedback is important, because you have to be more objective than possible, as possible. So yeah, working together is the key.
Okay, fine. What did you do and this might be the silliest question I've ever asked, in your spare time to relax? Did you have any spare time?
Not when I was studying for stage 2 actually,
Okay.
but my doctor, my mental coach said you must have 1 day off, otherwise you get crazy.
What, a month, a year?
1 day off a week.
There we go.
And I wanted to just go to the beach, even though it was winter or summer. I had to go to the beach, have a walk, and then go back home.
You're Italian, it's part of your DNA. You have to go to the
Of
beach.
course, I was in Tuscany. I have to go to the beach and then cuddle my cat. I have a beautiful cat. Her name is Ludovica. It's part of my heart. And then just relax and going out with friends for dinner. Yeah, very easy things. Very, very, very easy things.
Okay, fine. I can imagine that you go out to dinner. The first question is that they give you the wine list, and then you're back working again.
That was exactly what was happening.
Yeah, I guess right there. Okay, thank you for that. Fascinating for me and hopefully for you as well. Do you think that a total new approach for promoting wine to the new generation is requiring what changes in your estimation? I mean, we're hearing about sales are dying. I read something, I don't know if it has any basis in truth, but sales are now the equivalent of 1961.
Yeah.
I mean, that just seems impossible, and yet it might be true. So we have a new generation of potential wine drinkers. How do you persuade them to get engaged with the subject matter?
I think that the most effective way is to use their channels. So go on digital, but also try to engage with them with a language that is much more approachable. Especially in Italy, I don't know in UK, but in Italy, the past was dominated by a sommelier or wine expert that actually used a vocabulary that was too complicated, and that's why it moved me to study. Now I have my company, I do a lot of consultancy, and I do also a lot of teaching. My way of communicating the wine is very easy. It's technical, but the superpower I got of becoming an MW is that I can convey a complex matter in a simple way. And this is the key, because a younger generation actually want to feel approached by other people, want to feel in touch with other people. It's not like the previous generation when actually we admired our dad or mom or grandfathers and we wanted to mimic them. They are more curious about exploring life in a different way. So I also admire those kind of producers that go in digital. They say, "Hey, come with me in the winery. I show you what is a punching down. Yeah, I show you. I tell you." And so this is a way. Yes, this is the way, the most easy way to make the people engaging and fascinated by wine.
Yeah, I think that people of the young generation, of course, I'm not part of that by a long stretch, have been told this is the way, and you can't ask the question, and they're being talked down, and the points are there. So all you have to do is to read my palette, and how could you possibly go wrong?
It doesn't work like that.
No,
anymore.
it doesn't. No. I totally agree with that, and I can see that. One final thing. I was talking with Axel Heinz when he was with Ornellaia, and I asked him a question. And the question was, what is your favorite wine area of Italy that's going to surprise me? Expecting him, obviously, to say Tuscany, Langhe, and he said Marche.
Wow! Yeah.
And I understand from your smile that this also is an area that you wish to sort of elevate, because they have some magnificent wines.
Indeed, I think the beautiful things of Marche is that it's very diverse. The Verdicchio is super versatile. You have Verdicchio di Castelli di Jesi, that is a huge area, but then you have Verdicchio di Matelica, that is very small, but the precision of the fruit, the acidity, actually is a wine that is really contemporary. Also, together with Marche, we have Umbria, that is now working on making wines more and more elegant, more and more contemporary. And then we have Sicily with Etna, and they are doing so well. They are on hype. They are going to become the next classic region of the world. So there are beautiful, beautiful region of Italy that I actually want to explore more and want to talk about more.
Yes, I must admit, I live quite close to Cortona, which is not very far away from Umbria. But the wines of Lago di Trasimeno, Colli di Trasimeno, are extraordinary wines. They're so unique,
Yeah.
and that's just down my road. So there's plenty of new areas, new regions that are going to come through and surprise us in the future.
Yeah.
And no doubt you will lead that charge. Cristina, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very, very much for your time. And I apologize if any of the questions you've probably answered 150 times before. But once again, thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all for now.